Be Me 34F, OPS Director at a mid-sized software consulting company in the Mountain West. Masters in Organizational Behavior, resume full of change leadership and culture, training certs. Also a bunch of DEI coursework, because of course it is not gonna lie, I'm good at this job. I notice people patterns the engineers pretend don't exist. Office is one of those renovated warehouse spaces, open floor, plan, concrete floors, glass conference rooms, too many plants, cold brew on tap, basically daycare for adults, making ridiculous salaries. Wake up this morning, feeling locked in. Today is the day I finally start fixing the culture. Rot. I've been documenting for months, drinking an almond milk cappuccino, doom scrolling LinkedIn before work. See another post about amplifying quiet voices in the workplace. Tons of claps, hearts, corporate buzzwords. Still hits me for some reason. Drive in feeling like I have a mission. Get to the office around 8:50 walk in, and the vibe is already irritating me. Look over at the bay. That's what people call the main engineering floor. It's like 75% men, mostly guys named Matt, Ryan, or Chris. All in black hoodies, all wearing giant noise-canceling headphones. Typing like they're defusing bombs. Barely any eye contact. Zero social energy. Meanwhile, client success is mostly women. They're in the kitchen area, laughing, comparing notes, actually talking to each other. Like humans building rapport, keeping projects moving through relationships. Then one of them walks over to the engineering side with a question, and the whole atmosphere changes. One of the guys slides one ear cup off, gives a clipped technical answer, puts the ear cup right back on before she finishes responding. Happens. Constantly looks dismissive. Every single time. Feels like a dominance ritual. They hoard technical context so they can keep control of decisions. I've raised this with our VP, Halpern. More than once, Halpern is peak old school ops guy, only cares about delivery dates and uptime charts. I say we have a culture problem. He grunts and says, if the client renews, we're fine. Except the clients are not exactly fine. Our NPS dropped 3 points last quarter. Nobody seems interested in why. I know why. Engineering has an empathy deficit. They treat defects like logic puzzles, not friction moments for actual users trying to do their jobs. Today I start writing the initiative 10 a.m. Weekly blockers meeting pile into a conference room that smells like burnt coffee and expensive cologne. Air is freezing screen, won't connect for 2 minutes, same circus every week. Kayla is presenting, she's 25, smart, hungry client. Success lead for our biggest account. She's walking us through an update for the new analytics dashboard for Summit Logistics, biggest client on the board. Right now, she says the primary buttons need to feel more welcoming, cleaner, fully rounded, instead of hard corners. Talking about trust and usability, Matt, lead platform engineer, maybe 37, lets out this dramatic exhale, not even trying to hide it. Kayla, if we make them fully rounded, it breaks the grid in the legacy mobile view. He keeps going before she can reply. That means reworking the container styles and retesting the old layout. Kayla visibly loses momentum. I'm talking about the user flow. Matt, can we not get stuck in implementation details yet? Matt leans back like she's wasting everyone's oxygen. Implementation details are literally my job. It's another 2 to 3 days for a cosmetic tweak. Room goes quiet. The bad kind of quiet. Kayla glances around like she's checking if anyone will back her up. Nobody does. Matt folds his arms. That little smug look like he just ended the conversation with facts. And technically he did. But I watch what happens next. Kayla starts editing herself. In real time, she stops pushing the bigger idea, stops talking about how the client actually uses the product. Because now she's bracing for another wall of jargon. This is exactly the problem. I've been describing gatekeeping through technical fluency, weaponized competence. Matt isn't saying it's impossible. He's saying he doesn't think her input is worth the effort, because it's aesthetics, because she doesn't write code. I jump in, let's park the constraints for a second. Can we start from yes? Assume Kayla's vision is valid and work backward. How do we support the outcome she's asking for? Matt turns and gives me that flat, dead-eye stare. Absolutely no warmth in it. I support her by telling her the budget impact before she promises it to the client. Then a tiny smirk, like, gotcha. The arrogance on this guy. He acts like he's the protagonist because he can write Python and talk about CSS wrappers, meeting limps to the end. After that, nobody says much. Everybody pretends to take notes. Kayla comes by my office maybe 10 minutes later, door half closed behind her. She's frustrated and trying not to look emotional about it. I swear I need an engineering degree just to suggest a button shape. It's exhausting. I tell her it's not her. I tell her it's the system. We reward builders over experienced architects. You shouldn't have to translate your instincts into code terms to be taken seriously. She nods. You can see the relief hit immediately finally feels understood. That's the spark. The exact moment. I open a fresh Google Doc, blank page, cursor blinking like Destiny, or whatever title it. Project Lantern, realignment of technical capacity for customer-centered product. Flow corporate enough to sound safe, ambitious enough to actually change something. Spend the next 2 weeks collecting data, if I'm honest. A lot of it is selective. Basically, every time an engineer says no or says something will take longer or pushes back on scope, I log it as communication resistance. I start tagging examples, obstruction tone, issue, collaboration, gap, customer empathy, risk, build a little spreadsheet and everything. The pattern I want starts showing up. Women in the office spend way more time in meetings, Slack threads, planning docs, cross-team alignment conversations. Engineering, guys, spend almost all day coding or debugging, like 88 to 92%, depending on the week. Traditional metrics say. That means they are productive. My metrics say they're siloed and non-collaborative, different lens, different truth. I write the proposal, core idea is simple. Engineering should not drive product direction, client success, and strategy. Should the people closest to the customer should make the calls? Not the people closest to the codebase pilot. Plan gets more specific, reassign senior male engineers into a support and implementation tier. Remove their lead authority over product direction during the test period. They become technical facilitators. Their role is to execute approved requests, not debate design choices, not challenge timelines and planning meetings, not dominate feature conversations with edge cases. Build. What is assigned? Escalate blockers. That's it. Promote client success. Leads to product owners. For the pilot, Kayla Megan. Tori, they get final say on features and schedule commitments. Framed it as a power rebalance toward emotional intelligence, which I fully believed at the time. Pitch it to Halpern. On a Tuesday afternoon, he's half looking at a quarterly budget sheet while I present. I come prepared with all the right language, retention protection, cross-functional agility, decision, velocity, workflow, modernization, reduce churn risk. I point at compensation bands, tell him senior engineers are our most expensive resource. If we move them into a pure implementation lane, we streamline the pipeline. We stop burning time debating features and start shipping. Halpern finally looks up, so the engineers just build what they're assigned. No more arguing and planning. Exactly. Think of them more like internal contractors. We remove friction from the decision layer. He rubs his chin for a second, looks back at the numbers, and Kayla's group can actually run product. They know the client better than anyone in the room. Long pause. Then he says, yes, approves. A 90-day pilot, just like that. I leave his office buzzing, felt like I was finally cracking the glass ceiling from the inside. Friday all-hands announcement, everyone packed into the common area. Beer cans, hard seltzers, those sad little snack trays. Nobody finishes. I get up front, pull up the deck. Slides look incredible, clean layout. Soft, pastel, palette, minimal, text. Very future of work vibes. I take a breath, start talking about empathy-led engineering. I can see the engineers trading looks while I'm presenting. Matt leans toward Chris. Chris just gives this tiny shoulder shrug time to drop the actual change. Starting Monday. Engineering moves to a ticket fulfillment model. Product ownership shifts to the new vision team. I read the names off the slide. Kayla is now Director of Product Vision. Matt is now Senior Implementation Specialist. Chris is Back-End Support Lead. I package it like a gift for the guys. We're taking decision fatigue off your plate so you can focus on the craft. Room goes weirdly silent. I was ready for a fight. Figured Matt would push back immediately. Nothing, not one objection. The men just stare at me. Chris takes a sip of his lager, checks his phone. Matt nods slow, like he's hearing a weather report. That silence again, the one I've read about in all those workplace threads. Men emotionally disengaging when they lose social leverage. I read it as surrender. They know they can't argue against empathy without looking like assholes. Kayla's side of the room is the total opposite. Huge smiles, loud clapping. Megan, 23F, brand new marketing hire with a communications degree, raises her hand. Does this mean we can finally prioritize the UI refresh for the Q4 push? Yes. You set priorities now. Implementation executes. The energy is incredible. Meeting ends on that note. I watch the engineers file out. They don't look mad. They look bored. Whatever resistance is part of change, they will adjust or self-select out. Culture shifts are never clean. Week 1 of the new setup. First thing we do is redo the seating map. Vision team gets the bright open section by the windows. Natural light. Whiteboards. Easy access to the conference rooms. We move implementation to the back corner. Darker area. Less traffic. Kind of tucked behind the printer bank. I tell them it's about reducing interruptions so they can focus. Which is true enough also, if I'm being honest. Client walkthroughs look better without hoodies and energy drinks in the main sightline. Vision team mood is absolutely buzzing. Whiteboards covered in sticky notes, arrows everywhere, big themes, user feelings, journey, maps. Lots of blue sky ideation. Kayla schedules a kickoff for the summit. Logistics update doesn't invite Matt, or Chris says, I don't want technical constraints flattening the brainstorm. I nod. This is what empowerment looks like by Wednesday. She's built a roadmap. It is wildly ambitious, full rebuild of the client portal, AI support assistant baked into the help flow, gamified rewards for user engagement. She drops all of it into Jira as tickets. I had already given the guys one strict instruction. Do not mark tickets as won't fix. If it's in the backlog, it's a requirement. I walk by the support corner that afternoon. Dead quiet. Just mechanical keyboards clicking. Matt is on ticket 402. Make logo bounce on hover. I can see a docs page open on his second monitor. Normally he'd be explaining why bounce animations need extra JS and hurt page performance today. He just builds it. Chris is on the database migration work for the AI feature. I stop at his desk. How's it going, support lead? He slides one headphone off. Fine. Ticket 405 is vague on schema. I'm just creating tables based on what was requested. Great. Trust the vision. Chris? Sure. Puts the headphone back on, conversation over. I feel this little stab of irritation. He's so robotic. Where is the ownership? Where is the passion? Still, the tickets are moving, and that's the point, right? Kayla sends me an update later, says for the first time ever, her tickets are going to, in progress without a debate. She hangs a Rosie the Riveter poster in the Vision Team area. Big, we can do it energy. I smile every time I walk past it. We are absolutely winning. Week 3, the office vibe feels lighter, more laughing in the kitchen, less tension in meetings. Kayla, Megan, and I start going to lunch almost every day. We sit on a patio nearby and debrief talk about how toxic the old setup was. Kayla says, I used to be afraid to pitch anything. Now I actually feel like I own the product, I tell her. That's because you do. You're the captain now. We order mimosas with lunch, one turns into 2. Sometimes get back a little late, one day around 2 p.m. Walk in, and Slack is exploding. Summit Logistics rep is asking for a progress update on the beta. Kayla jumps on the call immediately. Super confident, promises the beta will be live by Friday. I ping implementation for Stotus. Matt replies in Slack, 402, 405, 408 complete. Push to staging. I open staging, logo bounces when you hover. Honestly looks cute. Page loads a little slower than before, whatever it's staging. I message Matt, is the AI integration ready? He replies, database tables are created. API hook is implemented per ticket 409. I ask, does it work? He says, it executes the requested code path. So, literal, these guys are NPCs, I swear. But technically that's a yes. Friday comes, Vision Team runs an internal demo for staff, very polished, very flashy animations everywhere. Megan actually picked a great color palette when they click the AI help button. It spins for like 10 seconds, then returns a generic hello message. Kayla moves past it, fast. We're still refining prompts. Halpern is in the room, watching. He looks impressed by the visuals, says, "This looks modern. Way better than those gray boxes Matt used to ship." I glance toward the back during the demo. Matt is sitting there playing a Steam Deck, not even pretending to watch. Just tapping away while Kayla is presenting. The disrespect is unreal. I make a mental note to write him up later for being distracted during a company meeting. Decide to let it go for now because we're supposed to be celebrating. We do a happy hour after beer. Seltzer's music going, Vision team hanging around the common area. Not a single engineer shows up. Every one of them logs off at exactly 5 p.m. Like some synchronized apathy routine, I say to Kayla, "See, they don't care about this company. They're just here for the paycheck." Kayla laughs and says, "Their loss. We're building what's next." Week 6. The cracks start showing small at first. Easy to explain. Away if you want to. Summit Logistics calls. Their users are complaining. The mobile site looks broken. Buttons off screen, menu, weird stuff, overlapping. Kayla tells the client it's probably a caching problem because she heard that term once in a meeting and it sounded legit. She opens a Jira ticket, fix mobile caching, assigns it to Chris. Chris comments on the ticket, issue is not caching. Issue is fixed with containers requested in ticket 501. Cache cleared. Problem remains. Then he closes the ticket. Kayla comes into my office stressed out. Chris keeps closing it and the site is still messed up on iPhone. I get up immediately, march straight to the support corner. "Chris, we have a problem." He takes off one headphone. "I don't see a problem. I see completed requirements. The client can't open the menu on their phone." Yes, because Kayla requested a 1280 pixels fixed hero section that does not scale. I built what the mockup specified. You knew that would break mobile. I'm not the product owner. I'm support. I raised responsive design concerns before the restructure. I was told not to gatekeep aesthetics. So I built the aesthetic. I can literally feel my blood pressure jump. He's doing it on purpose, malicious compliance in a hoodie. Fix it now. Please submit a ticket for responsive refactor. Estimated 10 to 12 hours to undo the fixed containers. Just do it. I can't work outside ticket flow. It breaks the metrics you implemented. Then he points at the dashboard on the wall. The efficiency dashboard I designed. If he works without a ticket, his utilization score drops. I basically built a trap and stepped into it. I go back to Kayla. Write a ticket to make the images responsive. Kayla looks at me like I asked her to do calculus. I don't know the specs for that. Just write, make it work on phone. She does. Chris accepts the ticket, then puts it at the bottom of the queue because it came in later, technically correct according to the priority system. Meanwhile, Summit Logistics is getting louder. Client rep is pissed. I tell Kayla to send a user education email, something like best experience on desktop while mobile improvements roll out. Total Band-Aid, embarrassing. But it buys time and we survive it. Month 3, the big one hits. Summit Logistics is launching a Black Friday pre-sale traffic forecast. Is like 5 times normal load under the old setup. Matt would spend the week before tuning queries, running load tests, slamming energy drinks, messing with balancing and cache settings like a lunatic. Now Matt is leaving at 5 p.m. Every day on the dot. Vision team plans a launch party instead. Balloons, cupcakes, playlist, little photo area near the windows. Kayla has promised the client 0 downtime based on confidence. Apparently I ask her, "Did we run load tests?" Kayla says, "Matt told us server capacity is the same as last year. So we should be okay. I want to push harder. Don't Friday morning, sale goes live at 9 a.m., 9:04 a.m. Real-time users spike past 9,000. The wall dashboard freezes the nice, rounded one. Kayla redesigned screen just hangs. Slack goes quiet for like 3 seconds, then turns into chaos messages everywhere. Alerts, pings, caps, lock. Summit's VP calls Halpern directly. Halpern comes sprinting out of his office, actually sprinting red-faced. The site is throwing 503s. Everything is down. What the hell is happening? I run to Kayla. She's panicking, breathing too fast. I don't know. It just stopped. I run to the support corner. It's calm back there, too. Calm, Matt and Chris both get alert notifications on their phones. Matt glances at his screen, CPU spike memory climbing. He puts the phone down, goes right back to typing. He's working on some confetti animation, ticket due next week. I lose it. Matt, the site is down. I saw the alert. Fix it. I don't have access to AWS production anymore. My stomach drops. What do you mean you don't have access? When you change the roles, support lost root access to production, security policy. Only product owners retain admin credentials now. And then, I remember, I did that. I pushed that rule through. I didn't want engineers tinkering and prod without approval. Kayla, do you have the keys? Kayla is crying now. I have the password vault. I don't know how to do terminal stuff. I only use the CMS. Halpern is standing there turning purple. Give Matt access now. Kayla opens her laptop with shaky hands, logs into the admin portal, starts clicking around. She has no idea where the SSH keys are stored. Clock is ticking the whole time. Every minute is something like $60,000 in lost client sales. Matt watches her struggle, doesn't step in, just waits, I say. Matt, help her, he says. That would violate the security policy. I need written authorization from the VP to elevate privileges. Halpern snaps, I authorize it, do it now. Matt stands up slow, like he's getting coffee walks over to Kayla's desk, types one command, grants himself access, walks back to his station logs and types for maybe 2 minutes, then says, Found it, I ask. What is it? AI chat widget. Runs a user history query on every page load. Query isn't optimized. It's locking the primary user table. Kayla wipes her face and says, But the AI widget is part of the vibe. We can't just turn it off, Matt. That query is doing a full table scan across like 10,000 users. We're talking millions of reads per second. The database is cooked, I ask. Can we optimize it? Matt shrugs. Sure. Give me about 3 weeks, Halpern snaps before I can say anything else. Turn it off. Remove the widget. Kayla, still crying, says, But it's on the roadmap. Halpern doesn't even look at her. Remove it. Matt types one command, something with git revert. Site comes back online, but all the Vision Team features disappear. With it, animations gone, AI chat gone, new, flow gone. It's basically the old site from 4 months ago. Summit Logistics VVP is on speaker screaming so loud we can hear him through the glass wall. Halpern takes the call, just stands there getting yelled at, looks completely drained. I look over at the Vision Team area, balloons already sagging, cupcakes untouched. Megan is sitting there texting her mom. Kayla runs to the bathroom and starts throwing up. I turn toward the support corner. Matt puts his headphones back on. Chris opens a sandwich like it's a normal Friday. No reaction, no urgency, nothing, they don't care. Then I remember they did warn us weeks ago. I remember seeing a Jira comment from Matt on the AI ticket. This query is O of n squared, will not scale under load. Kayla replied, let's not prematurely optimize. Feature value comes first. I backed Kayla in the thread. Basically implied Matt was being negative and blocking momentum standing there. In that moment, I feel nauseous aftermath. Hits fast. 1 week later, Summit Logistics fires us. They invoke the downtime penalty clause. Company loses something like 40% of projected annual revenue in one morning. Halpern calls an emergency meeting. Just me, him, and HR. Small conference room door closed. No coffee this time. Halpern asks for a post-mortem. I come in ready with my version. I say, this was sabotage, plain and simple. Implementation refused to intervene until they were explicitly told. They watched it burn. Halpern doesn't bite. I check the logs. Matt flagged that query 4 separate times. Kayla overrode him, and you approved the override. I try to hold the line because we prioritize user experience. Halpern leans forward. A 503 error page is the user experience. It's the worst possible one. Then he throws a printout folder on the table. My dashboards, my utilization metrics. The whole system. I was so proud of. Halpern points at it. You turned our strongest engineers into data entry clerks. You took away their judgment. You told them to stop thinking and just execute. I say, I was building a supportive structure for female leadership. Halpern fires right back. You built an echo chamber where nobody in charge understood the engine. He sighs long, exhausted sigh. We're downsizing. Vision team is dissolved. We're restoring the old structure, I say. That's regression. You're just letting the toxic bros win. Halpern stares at me. Those bros are the only reason the client's site came back online at all. HR slides a paper across the table. Termination notice, gross mismanagement of resources, failure to maintain service level obligations. I just stare at it genuinely stunned. You can't do this. I'll sue. This is retaliation. Halpern says, go ahead. We have the JIRA logs. We have your emails telling Matt to stay in his lane when he warned about server load. Meeting over, I pack my stuff into a cardboard box, walk out past the support corner. They took down the heavy divider curtain I had installed. Whole area is bright again. Matt and Chris are talking, actually talking, standing at a whiteboard drawing architecture diagrams. They look engaged for the first time in months. Chris glances up when I pass. Doesn't smile, doesn't smirk. Just looks at me like I'm a bug. Fix that already shipped Kayla. Catches me by the elevator, eyes puffy. She wasn't fired, just demoted back to junior account coordinator. She says, I really thought we had it. It felt so good, I tell her. We were sabotaged. The patriarchy protects its own. Kayla gives me this weird look. I don't know. I kinda wish I knew SQL right now. Then she walks back toward her desk. I leave the building. It's raining. Obviously, I call my boyfriend to vent. He doesn't pick up, probably playing Xbox with his headset. On useless present day, 3 months later. Still unemployed, applying to head of people and culture, ops roles. Market is brutal. LinkedIn full of laid-off tech managers, posting thought leadership through tears. Then I see a post from my old company. They landed a new contract photo of the team in the office. It's Matt Chris. And even Kayla is wearing a hoodie. Now she's pointing at a monitor. While Chris explains something, caption says, collaborative engineering solves hard problems. They stole my language except they're actually doing the work. Now I comment, glad to see the foundation I built is still paying off. Chris replies, like 10 minutes later, we reverted the repo, Lauren, we rebuilt it from scratch. I delete my comment order. DoorDash driver is a guy, hands me the bag without saying anything, just nods and leaves. I rate him 4 stars, too impersonal, God. I hate men. Open my blog, start drafting a new post. Why middle management is the front line of gender warfare. I'll show them. Eventually just need somebody to trust me with a budget. Again, check bank account, rent due next week. Briefly think, maybe I should learn to code. Nah, that's what support staff is for my face when I'm the victim of my own genius. My face when the world just isn't ready for empathy. First architecture, sip latte.